100 years?
Yeah, we've been around since 1914, so 111 years. Ran into Thomas Edison.
No way.
But with this device, it brought it down from like 13 feet barrier down to 6 inches. Those medium voltage transformers, they're sometimes 2 years out right now.
So who's driving all this demand, do you think?
Data centers.
Welcome to the Medium Voltage Experts Podcast. I am Mario de Alba, your host. I'm also the CEO and co-founder of Electric App Inc. or electricapp.com. We consider ourselves at Electric App the medium voltage easy button. We think we're experts in medium voltage. And it's not just because of everything we know, but because of the network and the people that we know in the industry. I've decided to interview some of these experts. So join me in getting to know these bright minds and have fun. Okay, subscribe. Jake, welcome.
Thanks, Mario. Glad to be here.
Yeah, this is
first
gonna be a lot of fun.
Podcast I've ever done. So we'll see how it goes.
You're gonna have a lot of fun. So tell me about you, Steven Sales. Who's Jake Lowder?
All right. So, yeah, my name's Jake Lowder. I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, kind of the Mill Creek area. I've been there pretty much my whole life. I went to the University of Utah and studied accounting. And I got into the industry because my dad, he was the owner of Steven Sales. And when I was in college, I worked in the warehouse as a forklift driver. I called myself the CFO, the chief forklift operator.
Nice.
But then, so I worked there in college, and in my degree got a job where I was traveling around quite a bit. So I left the business for a while. And but then when my dad was getting ready to retire, he and Miles called me up and said, "Hey, come join the family business." And so then Miles and I bought my dad out, and here we are.
And up to that point, you were doing accounting?
Yeah, well, so I worked for a company called Savage Services. You've probably seen their trucks around. And I started in their accounting group, but then moved over to the business operations.
Okay.
And then ended up in HR towards the end of it. So I was there about 6.5 years at Savage. And
cool.
Really cool company, but when my dad and brother presented this opportunity.
So Miles is your brother, okay.
Yes.
So both your dad and Miles. And is Miles your older brother?
Yep.
And what's his background?
So he also went to the University of Utah, but when he started working at Steven Sales, when we were both in college at the same time, we're just a year and a half apart. And
okay.
He stayed there, and so Miles has been there for, he's probably close to 20 years now that he's been working at Steven Sales. So,
wow.
Yeah, and I'm coming up on 7 years.
Nice. So tell me about Steven Sales. So it intrigued me when you and I first talked, because you said you guys have been around for 100 years.
Yeah, we've been around since 1914, so 111 years.
Jeez.
We've been around. It started by our great-grandfather's older brother. He went to World War I basic training camp where he broke his leg.
Okay, just like me.
Just like you. But he, because of that broken leg, he can, be in active military duty. So he got some money from that and went to a technology fair where he ran into Thomas Edison.
No way.
And then became the Thomas Edison rep in Utah. So,
do you have any insight on how that interaction came about?
We don't. We've looked through to find anything we could, like any signed documents, and back then it was just kind of a handshake agreement. There wasn't really a lot of contractual.
Yeah. So Thomas Edison was looking for help selling
the Mazda lamp. So
the lamp.
Yeah, and so in our building, we actually have a box. We found a box from one of his Mazda lamps.
No way.
And so we just have that up on the wall, a piece of that. So
very cool.
Yeah, and so it started that way, and then, so that was so his name was Stanley Stevens. That's why it's called Steven Sales.
Yep.
And then my great-grandfather, Thaddeus, joined the company, and when Stanley died in an automobile accident. And so Thaddeus took over, and then my grandpa, Jack Lowder, married into the family, then bought his father-in-law out of the business, and then my dad, and now Miles and I. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So you guys start with Thomas Edison. Well, do you have a sense of who were the second line, the third line, how it all came together?
I know that we had like a lot of the original, like Hubble and Philips Lighting, and a lot of those they've represented. And then it was about 40 years ago, 40 maybe even close to 50 years now, that we got into the medium voltage world.
Cool.
Where we started doing the McGraw-Edison stuff. So it was, Cooper Power Systems was purchased by Eaton, but before that, it was McGraw-Edison.
Wow.
And so we've been
I did not realize that.
Yeah, we've been repping them all the way through when they were McGraw-Edison to Cooper Power Systems, and now we've kind of been through that whole thing, both with
very cool.
Eaton Cooper Power Systems, but also Federal Pacific. We've been repping them for about 45 years as well. So
wow,
long time relationships, and they've been really good, and it's just been really, really awesome.
So give me, and I'm sure we don't want to piss anyone off of your line, so let's make sure we don't leave anyone out. But who are in general some of the lines you guys rep today?
Yeah, so we've got the Eaton Cooper Power Systems. We also have the Eaton Power Quality, like low voltage. So, surge protection devices and, power quality, power capacitors. And then we have Federal Pacific, both their medium voltage switch gears and their low voltage transformers.
And this is EMC, like electromechanics.
Yes.
Which is, a lot of people don't realize, Federal Pacific is owned by a larger group.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I like how they spell electric.
Yeah.
Because with a K, we do.
Yeah, just like you guys do. Yeah, and they've been a really good company as
well. Have they?
Yeah. Just super solid people working there, and they've got quality products.
Yeah. Their CEO connected with me on LinkedIn the other day. Yeah,
good.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good people there. We really enjoy working with them. And so that's on kind of the medium voltage side. Then we represent Mitsubishi UPS.
Okay.
So we just have their critical power side of the business. And that's a newer one. That's only about 2 years old for us. So, and then we also have iGuard. I don't know if you've heard of iGuard before. No. They do like neutral ground resistors, and they help with, safety things on the system, monitoring the system.
Yep.
Dranets metering, we represent them. So we actually own a few of the meters as well that we loan out to people, and Miles is really technical on that side of stuff. And so we'll go loan out our meter, and obviously we have to have an electrician that hooks it up, because you're putting it on the main panel board, and lots of power there. And he'll be able to download the reports and tell them, you got these harmonics or these surges going on. Very cool. And then from that report, then we can say, okay, you're going to need either power capacitor, surge protection device, And
you guys do both, so repping as well as renting out this equipment.
Yes.
So it's kind of cool, because you're meeting your customers where they need to be met. Yeah. And do you rent that direct to the customer or through distribution?
Just depends on, if they call us and say, hey, we need a meter.
Sure.
But oftentimes it is through a distributor.
Through distribution.
They're like, hey, my customer's having an electrical issue and they don't know what it is. We're like, hey, because they could go pay an electrical engineer to, do a system study, but that's going to cost them $10,000, $20,000, where we rent our meter out for a fraction of that cost. Sweet. Save them a lot of money on that end, and then figure out the solution for them.
So it sounds like Miles is very technical on the metering side.
Yes.
Where do you find yourself? What are some of your strengths in the sales agency?
Yeah. So one of the reasons they asked me to come over was because of my accounting background. Because, being a small agency, we kind of have to wear multiple hats. Like I'm sure you're used to, where you have to worry about accounting, you have to worry about, employee retention and all that stuff. So some of that skills is why they brought me over. I feel like I'm really good on the transformer side of things and understanding transformers and, helping people find solutions on that when they're like, hey, we've got an odd voltage, need to get something else. We can.
So are you the guy, like if I'm looking for an Eaton transformer, medium voltage transformer, you're the guy helping spec out?
Yeah. And we also have an internal guy. His name's Darren, and he's super technical on the transformer side. So if it's going to be like a really high spec transformer, he's the right guy to do. And so Miles and I mean, we try to be pretty technical in all aspects of it. It's kind of the surge and power factor stuff that gets really complicated.
Sure.
That I usually tap into Miles, and he'll help me on that. But other than that, we're more just geographically separated, where I'm covering the Utah County area and eastern Idaho and western Wyoming.
Okay.
Kind of my sales territory. And then Miles we split Salt Lake up between the two of us, but then he's got southern Utah and western Idaho. So
Okay. So you guys go all the way down to Boise?
Yep.
Okay. How about Wyoming, like the Toronto Mile?
So we're just the far, like if you're looking at Wyoming, the far west, just those 5 counties that are on that left side. So we're got like Jackson, we've got Rock Springs, Wyoming.
So you have Rock Springs?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yep.
And do you have Eastern Nevada, like the Elko area?
Yeah, we've got Elko, and but that's kind of a funny area where some manufacturers hire the California rep, the Northern California rep, and some of them hire the Utah rep. So we have a really close relationship with, I don't know if you've heard of Artwell out of California.
No, I don't.
They're an incredible agency as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
and they have the Eaton line over there, or?
Yeah, they've got, I think they have the Federal Pacific line there.
Got it.
So we both are the Federal Pacific and Eaton rep.
Cool.
And I've got to go verify now. I'm kind of having a mind blank which one
You're
we get. I think they've got Federal Pacific and we've got Eaton in that area.
Okay.
And so there's oftentimes jobs that when we get in Elko, that we have to work with them.
You work together. That makes sense. Is there a specific line, or maybe not line, but like specific product that you just love talking about?
I think all of it. Lately, I feel like the Eaton VFI, and then also, I don't know if you've seen Federal's new PSV switch. It's kind of their version that's going to be competing against the S&C Vista switch.
Okay.
So it's going to be programmable. They can tie it into their system. A lot of remote capabilities on that. It's like a smart switch.
Very cool.
That new Federal PSV is pretty exciting.
How are they connecting it online? Do they have their own platform, or?
Well, they work with the customer, and whatever platform they have, they'll integrate. And so it's very highly customizable, which is really cool. So when we get a job, we work closely with the end user and have meetings with the factory and say, okay, what system are you using? How do you want to connect it? And so they use SEL relays a lot.
SEL, yeah, sure. Yeah. Schweitzer.
Yeah. One of the other cool products, and it's not so new, it's probably about 5 years old now, but there's an arc quenching with Eaton, an arc quenching device. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's really cool product. And we when it first came out, we actually can't sell the arc quenching product ourselves. That's the Eaton house here in Salt Lake. But we can do it where it ties into our transformers and our VFI switches. And when that's all connected, it's really cool because all those devices have an arc flash rating, where there's something that's like, the arc flash explosion is rating potential is, there's no safety equipment that could even protect it. But with this device, it brought it down from like 13 feet barrier down to 6 inches.
Amazing.
It's really cool. It's a really cool product. And that's when it's integrated with our transformer. We call it the arc quenching VFI lineup. So,
very cool.
Yeah, very cool product. So,
well, tell me, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people like outside the industry have about medium voltage equipment and solutions?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got some funny stories.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, even within the industry, sometimes somebody will call us up and just be like, "Hey, I need a transformer."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, what do you want?" Because we sell anywhere from like a Federal Pacific control type 50 VA transformer that's going from like 120 volts to 24 volts.
Yeah.
Or we could go all the way to like a high voltage transformer that's going to like 146,000 volts down to like, whatever, 12,470 or whatever people are needing, And so I think there's a misconception that they're just like all transformers are the same, but they're not. There's so many different combinations, and specifically with our Eaton line, people think like, oh, I need a transformer. I'll just go call Steven Sales or a distributor and I can have it in a week or two. But, those medium voltage transformers, they're, sometimes 2 years out right now with the current market we're in. And that lead time is coming down. But
so not all transformers are the same just because you need one.
Yeah, some are in stock, some aren't in stock.
Yeah.
Some are 2 years out and some are...
The higher voltage ones, medium voltage, takes time to make them.
Yeah.
Do you see those long lead times that we've been exposed to the last 3-4 years coming down at all?
Yes.
You are?
Yes, they have been coming down, and Eaton is actually expanding their facility as well. So there should be more production coming online in the next
I've seen,
years.
And I guess I have friends, right, like the guys that own Maddox are friends of mine, and then you have all these other transformer brokers that have been popping out everywhere, like everywhere this last 24 months.
Yep.
And they're all like 14 weeks, 16 weeks. What are you experiencing with Eaton as far as like a 3-phase pad?
Yeah, I mean, depending on the KVA size, because they've got 2 different plants out in Milwaukee area.
Eaton's made in the U.S.
Eaton's made in the U.S., yes.
Cool.
And so one product line, I mean, once you get above 2,000 kVA, you have to go to the other facility because the cranes, just the sheer weight of those transformers, you have to have bigger cranes. And so but on the smaller transformer side, we're down to about, I think, 40 to 50 weeks on those. But then once you get above a 2,000, we're about 110 weeks right now. Okay. And so
just under a year for the smaller.
Yeah. And
about
then
2 years.
2 years.
On the really large ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and currently no production, like expedite production slots.
You can't. And who's driving all this demand, do you think?
Data centers. A lot of data centers.
And is this on the utility side or the contractor side?
I would say more on the commercial industrial side.
On the private side of the meter.
Yeah. So utility, they do a lot of business as well.
Sure.
And that was why at the beginning of when all this lead time went crazy, utilities went and pre-purchased a lot of production slots.
They bought all the capacity.
Yeah. And so that was kind of the initial. But then, I mean, in the last 5 years, data centers, renewable energy, all those are coming out. And so those are really big ticket items, especially for the data centers, because their footprint is huge. Not the transformer itself, but the importance of the footprint and keeping it compact is really important. So Eaton has a transformer that we can put the VFI inside the transformer and save that footprint. Because a lot of other companies, you'll have to have a transformer and then a medium voltage switch right next to it that provides that protection. Sorry about that.
And you can put it all compact on one.
And we can put it all compact on one, which is huge. And
so Eaton just acquired my friend's company.
Oh, really?
Like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Resilient Power.
Okay.
Did you see that announcement?
I didn't see that announcement.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
Josh Keister, he and I went to the same Techstars accelerator in Alabama. That's where we kicked off our companies. He had already been running his company for a couple of years. But his company's cool. They do direct inversion and transformation of power.
Okay.
So at the same time as DC is transformed to AC, they also transform it, and it seems to reduce the amount of harmonics.
Oh, cool.
And also the compact, it's a lot more compact of a solution rather than like in a skid.
Yeah.
Where you're gonna have both the switch and the transfer. I don't know too much about it, but Eden just acquired their company.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm sure you'll be seeing some of that.
Was that mostly like solar applications or renewables?
A lot of electrical vehicle charging.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, because you're gonna have that 12470 going to a DC chargers, and then you're gonna have to invert it.
Yeah.
Go to DC. So heavy there, and yeah, I'm sure there's demand for that in solar because you see those big skids in solar.
Yeah, they're needing inverters, transformers, and the transformers especially. I think here's another misconception that you're talking about, especially in the solar industry, because I'm sure you're aware of these entrepreneurs that are like, I'm going to start a solar field, get it up and running, sell it off or whatever, and they just want things cheap and dirty. They just want to get it as quick as they can, whatever it is. But solar fields actually are very hard on transformers because of the demand. I mean, when the sun's out and powering up all those solar panels and generating all that energy, the transformers are ramping up a lot. And so there's a lot of, with the oil field transformers, a lot of expansion and contraction with the transformers. So they actually have to physically, make the wall barriers and the radiators, they have to beef everything up.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I came across this part down in Delta. There's a solar field, and this person started up. I don't know who it was, but they just got whatever was available.
Sure.
They didn't get solar rated transformers, and now the people that are managing it have to deal with oil leaks all the time because it's just
those walls are just expanding like crazy.
Yeah,
and contracting at night. It's probably cold at night too.
And so just when you have a transformer that kind of is just running standard levels all the time, you don't need. It's not going to be hard on the radiators or any of that. But solar stuff, you need to beef up those transformers. So
interesting.
And not a lot of people know about that. So I think that's a misconception.
Very cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool tidbit. This is kind of cool from your perspective. So what are the biggest shifts you've seen in the medium voltage space over the last decade?
Back to kind of what you were talking about in the last 24 months, a lot of competition has come in because before the long lead times and everything, is basically eating ABB and maybe, one or two other competitors that we'd have. And now we're competing against Korean and Chinese manufacturers now because, they can build for especially these data centers that have they need to be up and running by a certain date.
Yep.
They're buying massive, 4 MVA transformers for their facilities, but they're buying, 30, 40 of them, and China can provide them in, 10 to 20 weeks. And we're 2 to 3 years out. It
creates a vacuum. I think these vacuums are interesting. I think, sadly, manufacturers are too big, too large to respond quickly.
Yes.
To some of these vacuums. They should see this a year in advance and react. And it takes them a year to make a decision.
Yeah.
But I'm very confident that even though that happens long term, things kind of even out.
Yeah, and that's what we actually have seen, that people who have purchased, transformers they've never heard of from a different country end up failing on them when they're here, and now they're in even worse of a situation.
Yeah.
So
it reminds me of I like dirt biking.
Yeah.
And I'd prefer to buy a 20-year-old Yamaha or Honda for my kids or myself.
Yeah.
Than to buy one of those $500, $1,000 bikes that you find online.
Oh yeah. You just don't know what you're gonna get. Right?
Yeah, they run great for about a month, and then spare parts are gonna be an issue.
Yes.
Or a Honda, Yamaha, you're gonna be able to go take it to any mechanic, and those engines are gonna run forever. So I'm curious to know if that's similar with these Chinese-made transformers or not as bad.
Yeah. Well, there's still a lot of hesitation from.
So the market, it has hesitation.
It still is a little hesitant to buy them, but the people who have gone it, we have heard of issues.
They do have some issues.
Yeah. And, but on the flip side as well, because of the high demand of transformers and manufacturers having a hard time keeping people, there has been some quality issues across all manufacturers. So,
sure.
But I would say overall there are more catastrophic failures on the unknown transformers versus the Eaton and ABB Hitachi ones. So
makes sense. Okay, this is an interesting one, and I'm gonna ask a second question, a follow-up question on this one. So sales reps like yourself, you guys sit at an intersection of like manufacturers and end users.
Yes.
What unique role, and then you also have distribution in the middle of that, right? So there's this weird 4-way conversations happening all the time.
Yeah.
What unique role do you think rep agencies like yours play in shaping the future of the medium voltage industry? And how do rep agencies have to adapt to the modern era of the internet and communication being so fast, et cetera?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a sales rep agency's role mainly is, because these manufacturers, they're selling all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have enough manpower to handle and reach out to everybody.
Yeah.
I think our unique role is a lot of education. We love doing training and teaching people about the product and, the different aspects of either a transformer, medium voltage switch, or power quality. Like we can provide a lot of that technical data where I think not, with the distributors, because we're kind of partners with distributors. We're both kind of the middlemen in the scenario where distributors have to be kind of a jack of all trades, you know. They have to know a little bit about every little thing, where we're going to be more the technical experts. And, we can go with the distributor to meetings. We can go directly to the end user to help them with issues and stuff. So I think that's where we play a key role for these manufacturers, where we are their support, we're their sales force, and we're out there training people and educating people on why one product is better than the other for a certain application.
Yeah.
And so
it's interesting. I love how you focus heavy on the expertise side of things, the training side of things. So I was a factory rep for 3M.
Yeah.
And we had a good agency at the time, BDY, and I saw it, right, firsthand. I saw who were my expert partners and who were my just purely PR partners. Yeah. Like, hey, this guy's really good at taking people out to lunch. Like, that's what he brings to the table. But this guy, he's an extension of my expertise.
Yeah.
And so great. Now, instead of I can talk to now, instead of 20 people a day, I can talk to 40.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to come to me every time he needs something. He can go handle all the technical questions. He can go do trainings on my behalf. So I'm dabbling my outreach, my exposure in the market. And I found that more useful. Oftentimes I see rep agencies lean heavy on their credit cards and let's buy someone a drink, which is not bad, right?
There's a place for it.
For sure. Relationship building is very important. But the value is in the expertise.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where, Miles and Darren have a lot of it. I'm still learning a lot because, I've only been in the industry about 7 years.
And you're still saying you're learning a lot. I hope everybody in my team who hears this have only been 2 years.
Yeah.
This guy's been 7.
Oh, yeah. There's
still
so
learning.
much to know. It's one of those things, the more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn,
Mm-hmm.
And, I did work a bit with my dad before he retired, and he he was an electrical engineer. He studied electrical engineering, got all that.
Oh, that's
and
the kind
so
of
his
sales rep I would want.
Yeah, his technical expertise. I mean, there were even times where the factory was reaching out to him saying,
Very cool.
We have this situation, even outside of our territory. Like, what do you see that we might not be seeing? And so he would often be a consultant for the manufacturers as well. Or like when this arc quenching thing I was talking about earlier came out, he was the one that was like, well, even though this isn't our product, we need to start getting out to all of our engineers and showing them this and how it can interact with our VFI switch or our VFI transformer when you tie in the relays and this arc quenching device, how much it can, all work together. And he was kind of the brainchild behind a lot of that. So,
yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I can see, a lot of people ask me, what do you think about sales agencies? I think those that have a heavy technical expertise that the local engineering firms, the local utilities, the local designers lean on and call on a weekly basis for technical questions, and you genuinely help them, you have a place.
Yeah.
Unless you learn to provide that type of value, you're going to be bouncing around lines.
Yes.
Constantly, and they're going to be weak lines. They're going to be consumer type lines that are not heavy technical. Yeah. And they're not going to bring a lot of value. So I think you have a bright future if you learn to be like Steven Sales in that regard.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We've definitely seen a lot of benefit from, even though my dad's retired, there's still people that know when they have technical questions because of how much he provided, they still come to us. And we can still give them the answers because we've learned from him. And if we don't have the answers, they still know we can go find it for them. So
very cool. This is a great question. So on the technology side of things, so medium voltage is it's advancing quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little too slow, but it is advancing quickly. There's some new technologies. Maybe on the Eaton side, you talked about the arc quenching. Is there any other technologies, maybe focus more on the rubber side of things? Is there any other technologies in the medium voltage that you're excited about that you see coming?
For like the rubber goods, I think there's a lot, and maybe this isn't so much as new stuff. You probably know a lot of this, but I think a lot of people, they just think it's just a termination. That's all I need on the transformer. But when you get to systems like at universities where they're all tying it into like a SCADA system, you've got to get fault indicators. You have to have voltage sensors. And they can all, like on the back of our elbows, you've got like the little, I'm drawing a blank on the...
Like a fault indicator?
Yeah, but like on that 600 amp elbow right behind you, there's that why can't I think
like the BIP, like a smart BIP?
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
So is he focusing heavy on the IoTs, the internet connected devices that talk to SCADA systems?
Yeah, they are. They do have a big focus on that, and so they have relationships with SEL. They've got their own, and this is a lot on the switchgear side because that's where a lot of the protection of the systems come in on those VFI switches, and
it's interesting because people wonder, well, if the switch or the transformer is connected, why would the accessory have to be connected online? What's the purpose? What would you say?
Well, if the switch is all connected, then you're just getting a signal if there's voltage or not. You're not getting any other information. Where some of these other products you can put on there, tie into your SCADA system, and it's going to tell you if it's phase A, B, or C that might have gone out. And so then you can quickly determine, on their system, be like, okay, well, we have an outage on this part of the campus. We can see that phase A went out on this, and they can really narrow down and get right to where the issue is.
Yeah.
So downtime is huge on some manufacturing plants. So.
I think you have SEL, right, Schweitzer, You have Lindsay. You have Creus, who was acquired by TE. You have a few other manufacturers, 3M's trying to do their own smart VIP. You have all these different smart.
Yeah, and Eaton even makes some of their own.
Eaton makes some.
Yeah, but they're flexible where if the customer needs SCL,
I think the future is exciting, like on the cable side of the health of the cable.
Yes.
That's where I think the transformer and the switch can't really tell you how the cable is doing. But like, if now you can start measuring the temperature of the cable, you can start seeing down to the voltage, see if all phases are off, or if you have, even partial discharge.
Yeah.
Like live partial discharge is possible with some of these sensors. I think it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So that excites me too.
Yeah, that stuff is really cool.
So we're working on some stuff at Electric to help manage all of that data.
Yeah.
As an unbiased platform. So we're pretty we get excited about exactly that. What advice, and this is the last question, what advice would you give young professionals who want to build a career in medium voltage, whether on the technical side or the sales side?
Yeah. I mean, I think they go hand in hand. That would be my advice is, like we were talking earlier, really dig into the technical side of things. Get to know every little piece that you can so that you can talk the same language because, medium voltage, it's got its own language, own terminology, and you have to know what you're talking about in order to really communicate to the people that will be using your equipment. And so I would say dive in heavily to the technical side, but then also work on your personal relationship skills because, you got to have a relationship with people. They have to trust you. And, if you have the technical side and you know how to talk to somebody, you marry those two up and you could go a long ways in this industry.
I love it. That's so good. Well, thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.